somebody asks you to think of the Ice Age, what do you imagine? Likely, you're thinking of glaciers, cavemen, saber-toothed tigers, and of course, the massive woolly mammoth. But what if I told you that scene might not be so far in the past? One biotechnology group, called Colossal, is trying to bring the woolly mammoth into our modern day and age, Jurassic Park style. Colossal, founded in 2021 by George Church and Ben Lamb, is a biosciences company that is focused on using genetic engineering to achieve de-extinction and conservation. Their goal is to engineer an animal nearly identical to the woolly mammoth, as they believe it is a vital defender of the Earth. They hope to achieve this through a complex process of genetic harvesting and surrogacy. Some of their main objectives in doing this include increasing resilience of climates to habitat change and driving advancements in multiplex genome editing. Notably, they did not come up with this idea, as it's been floating around in the scientific community for decades. But, as it stands, they are at the forefront of this movement. There's been much speculation in the scientific community over whether this is actually achievable given modern technology and the state of mammoth remains. In fact, how is this supposed to work? And what's the general scientific consensus on this process? The way to bring a woolly mammoth back isn't to actually bring it back as a perfect clone, as this is something that isn't exactly possible. Instead, scientists are creating a close replica using a mixture of harvested woolly mammoth DNA and current living elephant DNA. A simplified breakdown of their process is as follows. First, they need to find well-preserved woolly mammoth DNA from intact remains. Then, they do a process called gene sequencing on both the mammoth DNA and existing Asian elephant DNA. They're essentially decoding the instruction manuals, the DNA, of both of these animals. This allows them to identify which genes of the woolly mammoth make it unique from that of our living elephants. Then, they make edits on the genes of the living elephants in order to insert them into the nucleus of one of their eggs. This should create a viable embryo, which will be carried by an Asian or African elephant mother. They are still in the testing stages of gene editing right now. The feasibility of this project is definitely still up in the air. While Colossal is adamant in the possibility of their success, other scientists have their doubt. Dr. Lisa H. Sedaris, a Yale Climate Connections Fellow, said in a recent article, George Church has estimated that around 80,000 such mammothants would be needed to transform the Arctic landscape. Picture the task of orchestrating, simulating, and synchronizing the various nuanced interactions that allow complex megafauna to successfully mate, gestate, develop, give birth, form functional social groups, learn from one another, and navigate new environments. Then, scale that up to 80,000. That sure doesn't cast the future of this project in a hopeful light. However, a group of European researchers, after conducting a review on this topic, said that if Colossal follows their ideal approach, the success has a realistic chances of success. Though it's unclear if this goal is realistic, one question still remains unanswered. Should Colossal actually be doing this? There's much discussion on if bringing the woolly mammoth back is an ethical thing to do, or even necessary at all. Scientists at Colossal believe they'll be changing the world. Other people just think that it's a waste of money. George Church truly believes he will steer the course of humanity with this technology. He says, if the mammoth steppe ecosystem could be revived, it could help in reversing the rapid warming of the climate and, more pressingly, protect the Arctic's permafrost, one of the world's largest carbon reservoirs. He also believes that this project will save our existing elephants, with the risks to them being vastly outweighed by the net benefit. And, even if it doesn't work out in the end, he says that this work transfers outside of the world of Tusk's beast. It would advance genetic engineering technology just through its trial and error. But, catching back up with Dr. Lisa Sedaris, we can hear the opposite side of this perspective. She argues that de-extinction is a techno-fantasy that distracts from the real work of protecting our planet. She talks of the ethics of putting elephants through the traumatic and physically harmful experiences of testing and surrogacy. She questions the intentions behind this project. She, like many others, worries that this venture leeches focus and funding from the animals that are going extinct as we speak. She ends her article saying, rather than a solution, de-extinction is just a multiplier of threats. The moral response to extinction lies not in changing genomes, but in changing ourselves. Bringing back the woolly mammoth, among other extinct animals, has been a hot-button issue for well over a decade. There's evidence to show that progress is being made towards this reality, though there's a general skepticism in the scientific community. There are endless possibilities of what could happen if this project came to fruition, and endless opinions on the ethics behind it. What do you think? Will we be visiting the woolly mammoth zoo exhibit in the near future? Should we want that?